Hey guys, so we're back at this podcast again, and we're talking more about Candace Owens. It looks like we're going to do something a little bit different this time around.
Yeah. In episode two, we were going to talk about Candace Owens. I want to talk a little about like the X-Men too, just because it's a film I watched when I was a little kid. On rewatching it now, it kind of shows how it's different.
I mean, I didn't really get around to the X-Men, so maybe I should rewatch that franchise if I have time.
I like it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I get why some people just like superhero movies, but at the same time, it's like some of them are actually good.
Yeah,
Like Spider-Man: No Way Home. I got a lot of them are good, but anyways, what I was wanting to talk about with the X-Men is how. So I guess like when you watch it, like when you're a little kid, you're kind of confused what's going on. But once you get older, you understand what's actually going on. What do I mean by that is like at the very beginning, like they're at Auschwitz, but you didn't know what Auschwitz was. You thought it was like a prison. At least I did. And you see Magneto at the very beginning. He's like warping the gate and stuff, and it it shows him as a child, and really what's mutants about? It's about how humans evolve and change, and um like the two main people are Jewish people. It's Charles Xavier, one of the guys. He's the one that started the school, and the other Jewish guy is Magneto, who, like I said, is the kid from the Auschwitz. He still has the numbers on his wrist. Like sometimes he looks down, he sees the numbers on his wrist, and I just find it interesting how like they're both mutants and they have like completely opposite views. Where Charles Xavier wants to help out humanity while Magneto wants to destroy humanity. And this might sound a little weird to some people, but I feel like it's almost like a Jewish power fantasy, where like the mutants are like an allegory to Jewish people, where like, like historically Jewish people have to like hide themselves amongst others because of anti-Semitism. I kind of view like that similar to the mutants, I'm not saying like mutants are actually Jewish people, but like I always feel like it's almost like an allegory to them or a reference to them. And I view Magneto as like the Zionist who wants to wipe out humanity, while Charles Xavier is like I guess you call him like a liberal that's anti-Zionist who wants to work with humanity, even if a lot of humanity is anti-mutant, because a lot of humans in the X-Men universe are like saying these mutants are freaks, they might kill us, one day. So, like a lot of like the military are going after these mutants. So it drives a conflict between like, what should we do with these guys? Like, should we help out humanity or should we destroy humanity? I just find it interesting too how like the both Jewish people that escaped the war, and have like completely opposite views on the same issue. I don't know if you got anything added to that, Boren, but I just find it fascinating.
I mean, I know there's this fan theory out there saying like the X-Men is like an allegory or like a reference to the civil rights era where like Magneto's like the radical side while
Oh, like he's like Malcolm X.
yeah, and then Charles Xavier is like MLK,
Interesting.
the more moderate side, trying to work with the white Americans at the time to get integration and ending segregation.
Yeah, like saying that not all white people are bad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like you can make the same like reference though to Jewish people, because like Jewish people also had to hide, and like another reason why I call it power fantasy is because like the two main characters are Jewish. The leader of the good side is Jewish, the leader of the bad side is Jewish, and like they're like two of the most broken characters. And like in Judaism, they believe they have like they're special people, Not saying they have actual special powers, but like in their like whole beliefs that they think like they're like special, kind of like how the mutants are special. I just find it interesting. But yeah, I never thought of it as like the civil rights era. Huh.
I guess it is like a representation of like marginalized people and like
Yeah.
they argue which one is better. You know.
Compromise or radicalize.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, like the whole show, even like after X-Men 1, Charles Xavier, he didn't want to kill Magneto. In fact, he let him go in prison, even though he knows he might be risked later on. It's like they still have a certain connection. I think a lot of marginalized people feel that way. Like MLK, he probably doesn't want to hurt Malcolm X. And it's like interesting. It's almost like even though like they're enemies, they have a special kinship. Where like the way they talk to each other is almost like you get a sense that they both respect each other. And one thing they both work with each other, so that makes sense.
Yes, like they work for the same goal. They just disagree on the tactics.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like both of them want the mutants to have like the best life they can. So maybe that's part of the reason why they both respect each other. But it's like, think of every other like, I guess like supervillain versus superhero. Like they don't act like this. Like, sure, maybe Batman and respect Joker a little bit. It's like, but they both like at the same time really hate each other. Well, sure, like they're like Magneto and Charles Xavier, like they're like upset with each other. I don't get the sense that they hate each other. Oh, sorry. They definitely don't trust each other, but I don't think they hate each other. At least not in the same way as like typical superheroes and superheroes. Like Spider-Man, he hated the Goblin. He wanted to kill him. And it's just interesting, how like the dynamic is where like they don't both hate each other the same way as you typically think like superheroes and supervillains would. Now, I don't know if you have anything else to add to that, but I don't know. X-Men is just interesting in that way.
Yeah, they have more infighting than the Avengers.
I mean, you could like just say the whole dynamic rivalry is just infighting.
Mm-hmm.
Or like the mutants, like there's not that many mutants. Like it's crazy that like they're fighting each other.
Well, all right.
I think, but yeah, we could go on to, I guess, Candace Owens saga.
All right. Yeah, let's go.
Trying to like almost like I want to be clear that Turning Point USA is my family. The Charlie Kirk show is my family. Like she's just expanding the wings of people that we're not allowed to critique because they're in the family. If you call them fam, you can't critique them, right? Oh, I'm sorry. We actually are showing a clip of Rob McCoy defending a pedophile or trying to like launder the reputation of that's fam. That's the CK show fam. Oh, I'm sorry. We are actually pointing to the fact that we know for certain that this person or organization is sexual deviant. That's fam. That is my, don't you get me upset. I know that this is a now $150 million in the last 3-month organization and we employ tons of people, but you can't critique. You can't critique the fam. And I hate to say this, but I'm going to be very clear here. This is why there are many people who do not believe that women are equipped to lead companies, because what you are watching here is an unbelievably emotional response that is absent of any logic, okay? If you really care about your team, answer the questions, okay? Just demystify the entire event. Answer, come out, sit down, answer the questions so people don't think Turning Point USA looks so suspicious. Don't try to like mom the organization and say, well, mother's upset because people are coming after her kids and all of this multi-million-dollar subsidiaries. That's my children, okay? The multi-million-dollar subsidiaries, Turning Point, like Turning Point Action, all that, those are my kids, so you can't critique them. Not a good idea, okay? It may work in PR world. You guys, I know how it's an obvious PR campaign. It's never been more obvious of a psychological operation. I actually wish they would put me on payroll so I could help them make these things look more organic than having every single person that has been telling us to stop asking questions all make the exact same video within 4 seconds of each other being like, whoa.
Oh, yeah, that's enough from that. But Just to give you the context here, she was on the I don't know what you call it, the Erica Kirk show, or I guess it's still called Charlie Kirk show, but she was on with Erica Kirk talking about how like them smoothing out their disagreements, you know, and I think Candace Owens was backpedaling too on the show, and now I don't even know what, like, she's like saying how, like, I guess like Eric Kirk was using her, so now she can't criticize them because like their family. Which, I mean, like, I sort of like half understand what she's talking about. Like, on the right, you know, like, they're like, hey, you can't infight, you can't criticize anyone on the right, you know. But at the same time, it's like, if you watch the actual show, like, she was agreeing with Erica Kirk, so I don't even know what Candace Owens is on lately, you know. It just seems like she's like all over the place now. Where, like I said before, where I was kind of on her side, now I feel like, oh, she lost me now. Like, I don't even know what she's doing, you know. Is she like supporting Erica, or is she against Erica Kirk? I don't even know. I'm just curious what your thoughts are on this.
I mean, it just feels like this whole Charlie Kirk thing is just like, it's starting this infighting on the right, and it hasn't really stopped. It's kind of just like going on and off every once in a while.
I mean, that's the thing though. Like, she was on the show talking about how, like, they shouldn't disagree, you know. I might show you the secular talk video on it. Hold on. Where is it?
Oh, this one?
I guess this is
all right, guys.
Like,
So
Candace Owens turns on her own audience after Erica Kirk meeting, because in the meeting, Candace Owens was agreeing with Erica Kirk, which made the audience, you know, upset because they're like, hey, you're not supposed to agree with her because they're hiding stuff from the Tommy Robinson case, or at least they're trying to make people not talk about it, you know. So now it makes it less sense about this video, because this is after her collab with Erica Kirk. So now I'm just confused, you know. Is she pro or anti Erica Kirk? I guess, like, I don't get it. Does she see like Tommy Robinson killed him, or does she think like it's not true? I think this is probably part of the reason why people don't like Candace Owens, is because she's so wishy-washy when it comes to this. Kind of reminds me of Nick Fuentes, where, like, you know, Nick Fuentes says, oh, I love everyone, but at the same time makes fun of Jews. It's like, which side are you on? You know, maybe I should be surprised that right-wingers are grifters, but at the same time, it's kind of annoying.
Like, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if she's like playing a facade. It's all just an act.
I mean, it kind of feels that way when she like 1 second she's like talking about Erica Kirk, agreeing with Erica Kirk. Next second she's going back at it again, I guess, where she's disagreeing with her. I guess, like, out of context, this makes sense, because they did say, like, oh, they didn't actually say, oh, in the family, but like, it's kind of, you get that sense where, like, you can't criticize people on the right. So out of context is, I feel like this does make sense, but, like, the fact that she was, like, with Erica Kirk, agreeing with Erica Kirk, makes less sense, you know?
Yeah.
Anyways, that's the whole Candace Owens fiasco. I'm probably going to leave it at this, you know, because it's like, where do you even go from here? Like, even if she goes back at it again, attacking TV USA, it's like, I feel like now it makes people care less, because it's like, you literally with them before and agreeing with Erica Kirk, and I think most people aren't going to pay attention to Candace Owens as much now, because it feels like she's like, her principles aren't as, I guess, strong, you know? Like Psycho Talk was literally saying how, like, her own audience now is turning against her because of this.
I think the audience also knows something's off, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's so obvious to see once you see like someone changing the positions that quickly. Like obviously something's up. But anyways, that's that with Candace Owens. Last week, maybe it was 2 weeks ago actually, but Nick Fuentes was on the Piers Morgan show. And it's kind of funny because like Nick Fuentes was upset with it, but at the same time, it's it kind of makes sense why Piers Morgan pushed him hard. It's like historically, like whenever Nick Fuentes was on the shows, he never got real pushback. Like with Steven Crowder was like talking to Nick Fuentes saying, "Oh, are you anti-Semitic, Nick?" He said, "No." "Do you hate all Jews, Nick?" Nick Fuentes says, "No." "Are you a white supremacist?" This question or answer was kind of surprising. He said, "No." I don't believe that, but regardless. Steven Crowder also said other ones. I forget the whole list, but like it was just easy questions that Nick said no to. But like, here's the thing: you guys say this, Benjamin Netanyahu, do you hate all Palestinians? No. Are you anti-Arab? No. Are you a Jewish supremacist? No. Like you could do this to any historical figure, you know, and they could just say no. It doesn't prove anything. And I feel like this Piers Morgan podcast was like the first real time where like Nick Fuentes was challenged. All the other podcasts he went on, he never got challenged. He got easy questions, and they were just sniffing his ass. Let's say how it is. They were sniffing his ass to just agreeing with everything he says. You know, "Oh, you're pro Stalin? Oh well, I'll ask you later on, but I was never bringing it back up." You know, and I was curious what your thoughts are on like how all the podcasters are sniffing his ass except for Piers Morgan.
I guess like every other podcast before Piers Morgan is like just yes men, you know, they don't really question that much. They kind of just go along with what Nick Fuentes, you know, whatever he says. But here it's just like the Piers Morgan's like genuinely wonders if he believes in all of that. So
yeah, or if he's just grifting, if he's just doing it for like the clout.
Mm-hmm.
See, I feel like this is a more like authentic interview because before it's like, do people actually like whenever like someone sniffs your ass? Like it just seems so almost so gay, you know? It's like I don't know how else to describe it. It's like, why would you even like ask those questions? You know, other than to make Nick look more moderate. You know. And I don't see how like their audiences like don't see this, you know, like their audiences have to be like dumbasses if they can't see this. In fact, I'll show you the very beginning because this is the very beginning actually talks about what we're talking about.
On having Nick about our suspicion of an insidious immorality. For others, he's a product of a culture which has turned on its own and left many young people feeling listless and bitter. He's either a litmus test for right-wing hypocrisy on free speech or a walking, talking manifestation of where the lines should be drawn. And a frankly preposterous amount of airtime has been spent on debating everything from his ideology to his sexuality and whether anyone should actually talk to him at all.
If I were writing a glossary entry on the Streisand effect, I wouldn't put a picture of her next to it. I would put a picture of Nick Fuentes.
They have opted to not do so when it comes to Nazis like Nick Fuentes.
Fuentes takes this guy apart brick by brick. It's a full takedown.
My concern is that people who are a bit more moderate are deeply alarmed by Nick Fuentes.
I was very happy to see that like Nick Fuentes really passed that test with flying colors.
That fragmentation is being caused purposefully by a splinter faction of people led by a young man named Nick Fuentes.
That's the war. Can you get the beef prices down? Not crazy things that Nick Fuentes or these other loons say on social media.
Well, it looks like all the screaming about Nick Fuentes on the internet is finally dying down a little bit.
So now we had on this guy, this Fuentes guy, and never challenged him.
You should have Nick Fuentes on your show and you could ask him questions about that.
The truth is, it doesn't make a lot of sense to spend all this time talking about Nick Fuentes, but not actually to Nick Fuentes. People who say you shouldn't give him a platform overlook the very obvious fact that he already has a platform of his own, which is often bigger than most of the people complaining, and he uses it to speak unchallenged to his many followers. It's on that basis I've invited him to appear live and uncensored on my platform, and Nick Fuentes joins me now. Nick Fuentes, welcome to Uncensored.
At the very beginning, I don't really catch that more, but like that black guy was pretty much just saying how he puts on an appearance whenever he goes on these podcasts, and it's true, you know, he always does put on this appearance whenever he goes on like certain podcasts is to make himself look more moderate on YouTube. And while on Rumble, you see the real deal.
I mean, I think it's kind of similar to an extent where it's like in public you want to make yourself look good, but then in private you could just be truly whoever you really are. It's kind of like a similar effect, you know?
I mean, yeah, but I feel like when you're I guess like a political influencer, you know, I feel like the best thing to do is be like as authentic as you can be, you know, because if you're not being authentic, then like I feel like you're just being disingenuous at that point. You know, you're just purposely misleading people, thinking like, oh, he just seems like a hunky dokey liberal chill dude. You know, he seems like a nice liberal chill guy whenever he goes on these podcasts. Well, like you see him in the actual shows, you actually realize that he's not that. And as a matter of fact, like people who watch Piers Morgan podcast here, a lot of them that were Nick Fuentes fans stopped becoming Nick Fuentes fans because they see his true colors in this interview. I'll just show you one clip, and that could be that for this.
A racist, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
You're fine with saying you're a racist?
Totally. I think everybody's racist. I think everybody, if we're being honest, is racist. I think everybody, the only people that aren't racist or pretend not to be are white people to their detriment. Everybody else is racist.
But earlier in the interview, you really got aggrieved at the idea that your father was a racist. You wanted to make emphatically sure. He's not.
Because my father doesn't share my same views on that.
So he's the exception to the everyone's a racist.
Well, everybody's a little bit racist. You're right. So maybe everybody. The difference is you're attacking my father. You know, he can get fired from his job.
I'm not attacking your father.
You are.
No, I'm not. I don't know your father. And to be clear, I have no knowledge about him at all. Well,
then let's leave him out of it. Let's leave him out of it if you don't know him.
Hang on, Nick. You put that story into the public domain on your show. I'm simply reminding you of what you told everybody, millions of people, about your father. If you now want to retract it, fine. If you want to say it was a joke, which is what your position was earlier, fine. But I'm allowed to put to you things you said publicly. That's not unfair. That's not me targeting your father. You put that story about him out
You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing.
I'm asking you about a pretty shocking anecdote, which to me looked like you were saying your father made decisions about where you as a family would eat based on skin color of people who worked at these places. If you say, or use them, if you say that is not what you meant, that's fine. You can respond any way you like. I can't ask you about it without you.
Just for the context, the reason why Nick Fuentes was, I guess, triggered over Piers Morgan was because Piers Morgan was referring to a previous show Nick Fuentes made, where Nick Fuentes said that his father didn't let them go to like Red Lobster or Applebee's because they were like culturally black food. I forget what he called it specifically, but like they were black places and they can't go there because they don't want to eat black food because they thought it was like crap.
Oh, okay, that makes sense now. The question makes more
sense. And that's why Piers Morgan said like, oh, everyone's racist except your father, because Nick Fuentes says, oh, my dad wasn't actually racist. Oh, and he talked to Piers Morgan about it. And a lot of people on the right wing are like saying like, hey, you can't criticize his father whatsoever. And it's kind of weird because it's like, it's not like Piers Morgan like digs this stuff up out of nowhere. Nick Fuentes said it himself, you know, so if it was anyone to blame for making his father look bad, it'd be Nick Fuentes, you know, for saying it. No one made him say, oh, my dad told us we can't go to black restaurants. You say it yourself, you know. And I hate the poor clutching on the right wing right now, where it's like they're like getting triggered over Piers Morgan bringing up relatively speaking, like stuff connected to like the podcast, you know, or an interview. And I don't know. Have you seen this at all? Oh, I guess you didn't know about this because you were just saying "oh" when I was talking about it. But I was curious what your thoughts are on it. I guess.
Well, I guess the thing is, he wasn't pressured. He wasn't coerced. He said that thing. He said that statement on his podcast. But so, I don't know. Maybe he should watch his words before speaking next time, or I don't know. Maybe they don't learn if I even said this to them. So, who knows?
Oh yeah, some people are stubborn, but like, what do you expect to happen if you say something like how bad your dad is, and someone brings up later on? You can't be like, hey, you can't say that about my dad. He's like, well, you're the one that brought it up. You know, it's like, what do you expect to happen? Almost, you know. And here, like, he's saying about how like everyone's racist. So if everyone's racist, then why are you upset that people calling your dad racist? If you think everyone's racist, if you think everyone like hates each other, then you be like, oh yeah, my dad's racist. My dad's normal like that. You know? Instead of like being so defensive about like, oh no, my dad's not racist. You can't say that about my dad. Even though I was the one that brought it up. It's just the whole thing is kind of stupid. And there's a little, I don't know if I could find it now, but there's one part in the interview where Piers brought up a Holocaust survivor and talking about how like his mom survived the Holocaust and stuff. And Nick Fuentes was saying like, oh, I like the Nazis because they have cool edits. And he thought that was the onus. Like, dude, like go outside. You gotta touch grass someday because like in the real world, if you like bring this stuff up, everyone's gonna look at you weird. And I don't know what that says about society, but like I feel like people nowadays are just like they don't really give a shit about pain. They don't give a shit about if it hurts others, as long as it looks cool, you know. It really is a sad state of affairs, you know.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is why we're kind of in this toxic situation. It doesn't matter if it affects others. They just have this mentality of like me. So
yeah. I mean, that's such an easy thing. Nick Fuentes would be like, "Oh, I'm against the Nazis for doing the Holocaust," but no, he can't even say that. It's like, are you serious? He's like, "Oh, it doesn't affect me because I'm a white dude. You know, white people shouldn't care about as much." That's literally what he said. Maybe not exactly that way. I might be paraphrasing, but like that's essentially what he said there. He's like, it doesn't affect us as much because we're white Christians. You know, it's more of a Jewish thing that they should care about. Even if that's generally what you feel, like you shouldn't say that to others. You know, you should be like, yeah, that sucks. You know, like I hate it. Like I feel like empathy is actually a virtue. You know, being sympathetic to others and empathetic. Actually feeling bad whenever like a tragedy or a genocide happens, does not make you weak. Actually, in my opinion, I think it's a good thing, and it's actually healthy for society to feel bad for others. Because what would happen if, like everyone just gives a shit about themselves? You know, families were killing each other. You know, everyone would just be out for themselves at that point. It just is, this mindset's toxic, man.
Yeah, I can see that. Like this mindset is already like seeping into this culture, seeping into society, and that's why like nobody really cares, you know.
They're all out for themselves at this point. Which don't get me wrong, I see like you want to like self improve your life, but at the same time, it's like you shouldn't do it at the detriment of others. Like this should be obvious, you know. Like I guess it's not.
Yeah, well, this is the world we live in, you know.
Yeah. I thought it was common sense, like being a little selfish, but not to hurt others. But I guess it's not.
Yeah,
that's how I am. I'm a little selfish in life, but at the same time, I don't want to hurt others.
Yeah, but I guess that common sense logic isn't so common anymore because now we just want views, you know, clicks and attention. So.
Yeah, that's literally why he said that. He's like, "Oh, the cool edit because he was going to get clip farm." I saw this on TikTok the other day. somebody clicked that context and added like cool Nazi edits to it. Literally. It's like, dear fucking God. Imagine they did that out of like Zionism, like they did with Benjamin Netanyahu. It's like, oh, why do you like Israel? Because of the edits. And they show them like bombing Arabs and stuff.
In Gaza.
Yeah, in Gaza. It's like, dude, that's fucking insane. Yeah, you like Israel because of the cool edits. You like the Nazis because of the cool edits. So like, do you even hear yourself right now? Do you hear how fucking insane you are? Oh, well, that's sad note. Like, that's all I have to say about Piers Morgan and Nick Fuentes. I don't know if you got anything to add to it, but it's holy shit.
Yeah, I agree. I think this whole situation sucks, and yeah, let's move on to the next one, or the next topic, I should say.
This was just like the video I was talking about with Candace Owens turning on her audience. We kind of already talked about that. That's pretty much everything. I know I don't want to end it on a sour note, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. I didn't have that much stuff to show. I guess we could talk a little bit about like the Venezuela thing, because apparently Donald Trump is embargoing Venezuela as we speak right now and preventing them from like selling their oil, which is going to make them starve. I guess we could talk about that if you want. Well, what's your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, I've heard that on the news. I think before, like, there was like an airstrike on a cargo ship, and it killed civilians too. So that's like a war crime. But yeah, now they're gearing.
Yeah, we've been committing a lot of those war crimes.
Yeah, they've been gearing up to actually invade the country because Venezuela has a lot of oil reserves. So.
Yeah, I don't know if we're actually going to invade them, but something's going to happen. Like, Venezuela's going to starve if nothing happens, you know? So, they're kind of pushing Venezuela in a hard place right now, you know?
I mean,
it's like between a rock and a hard place at this point where, like, Venezuela, if they do nothing, they're going to starve. If Venezuela attacks America, they're just going to get killed. It's like, what the fuck are they going to do?
I mean, I remember they used to do this CIA coup. Remember, it was like in 2021 or 2019, but it failed. I don't know if you remember that.
I think so. Like CNN, where like they're talking about the different guy. I forget his name, but
yeah, like
I kind of know what he's talking about.
They sent some like CIA agents or CIA soldiers trying to like get into Venezuela, but then they got caught and it failed. So I feel like they're doing it again, but this time.
Oh no! Yeah, I remember what you're talking about. But like Nicolas Maduro like was holding out the medals. And these are the guys we took.
Yeah, and then now I think we're going in full force. They're like, okay, just forget about the covert operation. We're just going in guns blazing, you know, overthrowing Maduro and whatnot.
But hey, at least we're gonna get cool edits out of this, right, my guy? Because I guess that's what matters.
Well, yeah, that's what matters nowadays, apparently.
Yeah, we need at least we're gonna get cool edits out of this Venezuela war. I still can't believe you said that. It's so fucking insane to say. You like Nazi because of cool edits. All this sounds stupid. Like, you don't like them because of policy. You don't like them because of, like, what they done, which is really bad. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, saying that just makes you sound like a dumbass. You literally said that about any regime because of edits. I like China because they have cool edits, you know?
Cool TikTok, YouTube short edits. I mean...
Yeah, it's just like Gen Z sloth, honestly. That's one thing I actually hate about Gen Z. I'll bash Gen Z a little bit. I hate how much they care about aesthetics, like looks maxing, all this shit. I just hate all of it.
Oh yes, I know what you're talking about. Like, you
know,
or
like they literally like bone smash themselves to make themselves look better.
Like, why do they distort their jaw because of looks maxing? It's just I don't get the logic, you know.
That's what I'm saying. Like all Gen Z, they care about aesthetics and only about aesthetics. To their own detriment.
I mean, it's style over substance. What do you expect?
Yeah. Oh, hopefully it wouldn't be a war, but at the same time, I do feel bad for Venezuela because, like, they're going to get so poor, they're going to starve to death, honestly, if nothing happens.
Yeah.
It isn't even like Venezuela is hostile to America. It's kind of crazy that America is like embargoing Venezuela right now and preventing anyone from shipping with them.
I mean, hypothetically, let's say they overthrow Maduro, they're probably going to do like an insurgency. But
Yeah.
I don't know if America can crush this hypothetical Venezuela insurgency. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, they tried to do state building in Afghanistan and it failed. They were trying to build like a republic in Afghanistan, like the Taliban just took over, so who knows what happened in Venezuela if that happens. It could just be like a different dictator just takes over, you know, like every time we try to do like reconstruction in all these countries, it always fails. And we never learn. And they call it peacekeeping too. Oh, we're doing quote unquote peacekeeping whenever we were deployed there.
Also, isn't it kind of ironic where Trump ran on?
Yeah.
All right, let's just end this then. So I'm gonna end this because my friend's gotta go. See y'all next time on the next episode. Take care.